Hello everyone and welcome to this new video. I'm Ombra and today I'm gonna show you my tier list for the damage dealer commander, but with the limitation we can only use commander respect 3. So this is not a tier list for Mega Whale, is not a tier list for player with a lot of season, is a tier list focused for new player and also free to play that struggle to have commander over respect 3, and with that I'm gonna show you who you should invest for bring the maximum power from what you have. Like always, first and start, I wanna ask you to smash like on the video and also subscribe to my channel if you're not already. This is the best way for support my channel. I make a lot of research for making this tier list. I'm talking with a lot of people, taking a lot of opinion. Also, I do myself a lot of testing with the free-to-play combination. But I found the only way for make a tier list based not on a personal opinion and just on mathematics calculation is remove the opinion and base all only on numbers. So I take every single skill and statistic of all the DPS commander of the game and I place that on a spreadsheet. I divide that for every round of the game for understand how the damage gonna be applied on the battle, and I also modify this skill for the statistic of the commander. In my simulation with the graphics I can check exactly when the commander gonna have the power spike. There's different kind of skill that have different scaling. For example, there's commanders better in early game that scale worst in late game. There's other have a particular spike in round 3, round 6. I study a lot how the commander applied the damage and I use all this information for determining the power of the commander at respect 3. The first commander is Adune. On the kit have two good skill for damage dealing. I choose to run Spellseeker and Reaper for this calculation, and Adune totalize 77k of point and gonna be placed on the class. Better than that, but not by far, there's Azok. I choose to run Pursuer and Shadow of the Mist on this test, and it totalize 81k of point for have a place on the class. Then we have Aragorn, King of the Men. I choose to run Anduril and also Strider on this test, and it totalize an insane amount of power, 144k for Aragorn, King of the Men, deserving the S+ class. Then we have Aragorn II in the Strider version, the epic version of the Aragorn, with the same skill Anduril and Strider. It totalize 106k and gonna be placed on B tier, and this is a clear example of how the statistic change the output of damage of a commander. The same skill on Aragorn, King of the Men and Aragorn, this is not the same damage. There's a lot of difference. Now we talk about Balin. For this test I choose to run Revivalist and also Turin's Blood, one of the best skill for damage dealing in the game. Balin found a place on B tier under Aragorn with 101k of power. Then we talk about Bard, the new commander that have Bowman and also Descendant of Girion for this test. The overall power is 101k, like Balin, is a little inferior cause have 400 less than Balin, and for this reason I place them under Balin. Now it's the time of Bjorn. In this test we run Skin Changer and also Anduin Vale Chieftain. The amount of power generated by Bjorn is 140k and is enough for stay on S+ tier. Now it's the time of Chestaro, and in this simulation we run Ringwraith and Spellseeker. The amount of power of Chestaro is only 96k and place that on C tier. Then it's time to talk about Dane. In this simulation we're running Ironfoot and also Durin's Blood, and without surprise Dane totalize 166k of power, an insane amount that places that in the top of S+ tier. If Dane totalize this amount of damage even at respect 3, it's a clear proof there's something wrong on this commander. After them we have Dwalin with Experienced Warrior and Durin's Blood. It totalize 101k, exactly like Bard and Balin, only 100 less than Bard, and he found a good place on B tier. Now it's the time to talk about Eomer. We have Marshal of the Eastmark and Heoding for the skill. He totalize 115k and take a place on A tier. Now we talk about Faramir, and in this test we run Ranger of the Ithilien and also Last Steward. I'm gonna make a spoiler to you, Faramir is the worst commander with only 56k of power. So it's the last commander you want if you want a damage dealer right now. Then we have Galadriel with the skill Mistress of Magic and also Lady of Lothlorien that receive a buff in the last patch note. He make 124k of power and take a place on a S tier as a damage dealer. Now it's Gimli time. For this test we run Experienced Warrior and also Durin's Blot, the same skill of Dwalin, but Gimli with this skill totalize 170k, a bit more than Eomer, and take a place on A tier. Now we talk about Aegon, and in this test we run Devotion and also Herald. Is a clear example of a good set of skill pair with bad statistic, cause he totalize only 80k of power and take a place on D tier. Now it's the time of Camul, and in this test we run Ringwraith and also Shadow of the East. He make 96k of power like Sestaro, but 500 less than them, and for this reason I place that on C tier under Sestaro. Now we talk about Legolas, and for this test we use Greenleaf and also the Fair. The amount of power we generate is 90k, and at least we take a place on C tier. Now it's the time to talk about Lurtz, and in this test we run Pursuer and also Uruk-hai Firstborn. Lurtz totalize 122k of power and take a place on S tier, and I spoiler you that this is the best result in terms of power for an epic commander on this tier list. Then we have Oglurg with Axe Overload and also Gron's Command. The amount of power of this commander is 126k and is enough for staying on top of Galadriel and Lurtz on a S tier class. Finally we reach Saruman. For this test we run Of Many Color and Voice of Saruman. With them we got 152k of power, and this is absolutely the best result of an evil commander at Respect 3. Now it's the time to talk about Shadow, and in this test we forced to run Undertaker and also Black Númenórean. Unfortunate for Shadow, the strong part of them kit is Respect 5 skill, so it totalized only 84k of power, and that placed them on a D class. So if you are only Respect 3, Shadow is a bad investment. You can still use that just for removing the White Council stack, but not for making damage dealer. Then it's the time of Scalhelm. On air we have Executioner and also Ringwraith. She totalizes a very strong amount of power, 131k, and place them in a S class. Then we talk about Thorin, where we run Oakenshield and also Revivalist. It totalizes only 94k of power and take a place on C tier. Then we have Yuktak with the skill Pursuer and Searching Axe. Totalize only 79k of damage and take a place on D tier. Now is the time of the Undying, where we run Undertaker and also Weapon Master. It totalizes a solid 180k and take the lead of A tier. Then we have the Witch King with the skill Ringwraith and also Lord of the Nazgul. It totalizes 96k of damage, 400 less than Cestaro, and take a place on C tier. As last commander we have Zegrid with Enemy of the Rohirrim and also the Reckless. It totalizes 90.1k of power and take the bottom of the C tier. So this is my final tier list. If you want a damage dealer commander and you cannot go over Respect 3, if you are from good faction you want Dane, Aragorn King of the Men and Bjorn, and if you are from evil faction you want Saruman, Scalhelm and Oglurg. If you don't have for now legendary commander, what I suggest to use is Lurtz for evil faction, and you can choose if you wanna run Gimli or Eomer for good faction. At rare level the only one I save is Dwalin. He deal at least a good amount of damage and is the only rare on B tier. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, just just smash like on that and also subscribe to my channel for a future content. Let me know in the comment what you think about tier list. Like always, I wanna remember I have an affiliated link for support directly my channel buying gem from the official site of the game. If you use my referral link, the devs are gonna recognize me a little commission and you're gonna support directly my channel. Like always, thank you for following me and see you in the next. Woo!